Welcome, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. I'm your producer and host of the show, Dr. Lino Martinez. This is your motivational podcast of people's incredible journeys. Oh, yeah, let's do this. Welcome back, everybody, to the A Little Less Fear podcast. Today, I would love to welcome back Michaell Magrutsche. He's an Austrian-Californian multimedia artist. He became a creativity awareness educator through his experience-based outside-the-box upbringing that he was forced into through his neurodiversity. He is self-taught, author of 5 books, podcaster, speaker, guide, former Newport Beach, California Arts-Commissioner, and co-produced with Robert Evans. Welcome back, Michaell, to A Little Less Fear podcast. So good to see you again.
So good to be here, Lino. I can't wait. I can't wait for this today. Let's go and roll.
Yeah, you know what? I love your passion for humanity, for life, for love, and for seeing humanity all as one rather than being separated and seen as basic a separate clause. You're seeing everybody as human nature is intended to be seen humans. We are one with nature. Nature is one with us. And we have lost our way through actually as diverse as we have been wanting to be in this lifetime. It seems that the diversity has separated us and put us in boxes. So welcome back. I love discussing this stuff with you. Where would you like to start? And feel free to start wherever you'd like.
Yeah, I want to repeat what you said. I have no education. I'm totally self-taught. I've never fit into a system. The reason why I have a look that's so unusual is because I never could fit into systems. So I had to rely on doing art. God thanks, I discovered creating art.
Yeah, and I love your paintings, by the way. Your art is beautiful art.
Thank you. Thank you. And it helps me, you know, this creation, art creation gives me self-esteem. And I ask everybody that listens, if you want to find out your uniqueness, create some art. Don't worry about the art project, but to create in that interaction of being, you know, talking to your non-physical self, creating a painting, creating a song, creating a statue, you learn the most. And you hide, if you focus, oh, I need to create something that sells, you're not enjoying the process and you're not learning anything in the process. You're learning, but not as much as if you just focus what you want to create to show you your uniqueness. You are one of 8 billion humans, and one of one with your own DNA, own fingerprints, own eyes. And a lot of people say, they stop there. And you have a different view on life. Just look at your family. In your family, all participants have a different look on life. And what this means is for our system relevance, that there is no such thing. We make it all system relevant, but there is no truth because Michaell, everybody is one of one.
That is true. There is no truth because everyone is one of one. I love this. There is no truth because everyone is one of one. Okay, so you just mentioned the word. I just want just for people that are listening to this podcast episode for the first time, you mentioned the term system relevance. What does that mean?
Okay, so we are humans, right?
Right.
And humans are a part of nature, and I call us in the human centricity, which means we are part of nature and we are all one family. We are by nature a collaborative creator species or animals. We are a collaborative creator animal or species. Look at New York, Singapore, look at Google, Apple. We love creating all the time. Humans like to create. Right. They cannot not create. Now with the AI, we gotta create.
Yes.
But we created all the systems that we have. we created, the governments, the nonprofits, the religions, the businesses, literally everything. And the problem is we are so fascinated by our creations, like we look at Google and Apple and New York and Singapore and say, oh my God, look at us. So we have psychologically, what's this called? When you love, when you have a shiny object syndrome, we have a shiny object syndrome that our creations are so good, they're bigger than us. So when the system says, you gotta be a Latino, you gotta be a white guy, you gotta be a black guy, you gotta be a woman, you gotta be a man, you gotta be whatever, it has a classification for system relevance. In human centricity, in the part of nature, it's irrelevant. No, look at any human, look at any animal in the wilderness. They don't say, oh my God, the giraffe is bigger than the zebra. Oh my God, the elephant is more worth. Everybody works together. The elephant does what he does. The
The
zebra
animals
does
are not
whatever.
comparing each other.
Yeah, they don't compare each other. Also, there's no laziness in nature. So laziness is only in system relevant, because when people are not system relevant, the system deems them, and we also, because we are all, unconsciously copying system relevance, and we say, oh, that's just lazy. Lazy is a capitulation when you can't fit in. You think you're powerless in the system relevance, which I felt a lot. I felt I couldn't fit in, and because I stuttered, I couldn't read, I couldn't write. I wrote 5 books. I have the computer read them to me, so I couldn't do it. And so and when I couldn't be in class, I repeated I have like 8 years of school, and I repeated 2 of them because I'm not lazy. I try to get through it.
Yes.
But it is very hard when you're 12 years old with 10 years old,
My goodness, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. And you're the big pots, and I wasn't dumb. I just couldn't regurgitate what was taught to me. And this is what happens, because systems we created all of them. Humans created all the man-made systems. So they're very limited. So we have to adapt to make systems work.
Yes.
And so I divide, because we are creative animals, we need to be both. We need to be human-centric primarily, not forgetting where we come from. We are still a part of nature. Therefore, climate change cannot be done by us, because climate just changes. We had an ice age. But what can we do? See, when I look at the human centricity, we can make sure of clean water, clean air, and clean food. That then, when we get climate change, then we actually are healthier to survive that climate change. And if we work on clean food, clean water, and clean air, we do the maximum for climate change that we're actually able to do, which nobody can put their head around climate change since we had an ice age. Nobody can wrap their head around CO2 emissions. Nobody can wrap their head around. So it's constantly said, and at the same time we dirtying water, dirtying food, dirtying air. And so the human centricity is important, to see our humans and give it priority, and not the system relevance, because system relevance is all a big promise. When you get the Oscar, that your life will be. I know Oscar winners. I know Grammy winners. I need Olympics that won medals. It's nothing. They can never justify their past. And look at it. Very simple. See, to see how I think human-centrically and system relevant. When you do everything for that goal to win the Oscar, and you don't do anything for the goal, and the Oscar is the icing on the cake, both are not very exciting, because even for the guy that loves acting and wins the Oscar is the icing on the cake. Nice. I'm not saying it's bad. It's wonderful.
Sure.
But it doesn't change your life or justifies your path.
True.
Because when your mindset is always on that Oscar, it doesn't make you, it doesn't prevent you having diseases. It doesn't prevent you having problems with spouses. Those
Very
are all
true.
human centric. So that's why I say you gotta separate in human centricity that we are and need to give it priority, and then in system relevance, which is the game we collectively play.
Yes.
And not everybody that is human centric is worth anything. It's because a beggar on Fifth Avenue, nobody cares about a beggar. It's a burden for systems. They don't want beggars, but the beggar influences more people than you and I, because everybody that walks on Fifth Avenue that made it, that is in the upper middle class, looks at that beggar, and human centrically, they all feel, you know what, tomorrow I'm system relevant, but tomorrow I can end up like this. Because everybody knows also that system is just a promise. It's not the truth. When you get this, you get Social Security. All of a sudden, we don't have the money. Oh, you got to work instead of 60, you got to work till 70. And then we don't have the money. And it's system constantly promise you and give you false hope. And never, or I'm not against system. I'm thinking we have to be aware of that so we can make systems more human-centric, so they serve us like we want them to serve us.
How can people become more aware of the system relevance rather than how can somebody become more aware of their human centricity? If
Just
people are so
understanding.
brainwashed and living in the system, and they're impounded by the ideas of this systemic life that people are brought up from the time they're born, and they're not even aware that they're in this constant cycle of this being bombarded and being owned by the system.
Yeah.
How can somebody lose that ownership or being owned and come into their own ownership of their own humanness?
Aware. I mean, if you're aware that you are one of 8 billion and not like everyone, that you, like system says, okay, Lino, great, here's a job. And if you don't do what the system says, we're going to exchange you. You can't be exchanged in a human-centrically thing, because you are one of one. Nobody can exchange you. Only if you go to a job where you sacrifice yourself and subordinate yourself to fit in and to give the system what it needs, you can be exchanged. But you as a human can never be exchanged. It doesn't matter if you have blue hair or green, it doesn't matter which race you are or anything. You can't be exchanged because you're one of one, and nature doesn't make a mistake. Nature doesn't give you life and says, sorry, I made 1,000 elephants too many. I guess we don't have enough food, they have to die. That doesn't happen in nature. It happens only in systems. Look at our wars currently. It doesn't happen in nature. In nature, when two animals fight, they just fight so long, which is very short,
right? And then they're
to
done.
sense who is dominant, to sense it,
Right.
who is the leader of the pack. And the other one leaves, and the leader stays the leader. And if the leader think he knows he's going to go, and he's weaker, and he follows he's going into the pack. So we have to listen to this a couple of times, because the awareness alone makes your life 50% easier, because your choices are not mixed. The problem happens when you mix human centricity, what you are, that you can't change that, and you give system relevance a higher value.
But how can somebody, if somebody doesn't even understand how to become aware, how does someone even begin to become aware?
When you listen to this, you are, because you are a human-centric being, no matter where. If you are so system-centric, you are. I mean, I did 300 podcasts. All over the world, I've never had anybody push back on me and say, that's bullshit. I said, no, humans understand when you talk. I'm not talking against any system. I'm not talking against anything.
Right.
I'm just giving awareness, because awareness trumps everything. Once you're aware that you are human-centric, and just let's talk about women and men. Sure. The everybody, like in nature, nobody cares about if you're a woman or a man unless it's mating season, right?
Right.
And in system relevance, they said, okay, a man don't feel as much, so we gotta send him in the war to kill. They're stronger and they're stronger, so we send him in the war to kill. The woman, we just leave here and we just let him do, the system decided it, make more warriors, feed the warriors, and be housewives. But the nature was, don't warriors. And that's where the whole definition, system categorization of male and female gender became irrelevant. And we didn't, we are all benevolent human beings. We didn't fight. I mean, the best would have been if that would happen now, a woman would say, no way, we're not different. We're not different. Yeah. But then everything was benevolent, like in nature. Everyone was thing, and people were, had other crises and everything. And so they were distracted and they didn't really stand for being a woman or a man. So when in 1967, women tried to be systemically equal, that doesn't work. Because even if the system says women are better than men, then you need the system that we created to make you equal or better. And that means that you are weaker, naturally weak. And nobody believes that. That's why women should have never, I mean, it's always hindsight, it's always 2020. But women should have never asked it. Listen, in nature, we're equal, we are humans. That's it. And the race, the same thing. Race, different race. We are human. It doesn't matter. But nobody says, oh, the zebra is not like a pig, and therefore the zebra is a different race. No, it's just a different race, and we are all a variant that is important. Otherwise, nature wouldn't create us. Nature would have made us all white, all male, and we don't need females, right? I mean, this is just
so true.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. And this is what I wanted to give your listeners. I want them listen to this episode over and over till you get it, because you need to be just aware. There's no steps to do. There's nothing to do. It's just awareness, and you can't go back. Once you're aware, you cannot go back into your system relevant BS, because system relevant is always lower than human centricity. So when you, and see, the problem comes to, for example, with sports, right? When women don't get, when they say, okay, we got so far now that we have for women's sports, right?
Right.
Now, when transsexuals come into the women's sports, it's again against women. Yeah. Because I'm totally for transsexuals, but I'm not. The women are already inferior, no matter what system says. If system deems woman the best thing on earth, it will never change, because it needed the system to say that. And the system can also then say, no, tomorrow the men are the best, or the transsexuals are the best of all.
True.
Do you see? I mean, so the system is not relevant. It's just continuously changing what it needs to survive. And that's why when you are, when you can segregate this, all of a sudden it gets all clear, because it's one systemic over the other systemic. So when women believe they have finally gotten their own sports, and they've gotten their rights, and they can vote and all that stuff.
Yeah.
All given by systems. It's not naturally. And it should have been always naturally. Always. Because there's no difference between women and men. They are human.
Yeah.
And there's no difference between transsexual and thing. And anybody that changes you, look, the system allows you to change whatever you want to do, which is fine.
Yeah.
But you can't get into, for example, Black Lives Matter. If system says Black Lives Matter, then you basically confirm that Black lives don't matter, and you needed the system to make you that, which is blacks don't need any systems. They are perfect. like they are, like Latinos, like any race, like any gender, is perfect as they are. They wouldn't exist by nature, and we know that nature doesn't make a mistake. We wouldn't, nature, we don't need a system allowance.
Yeah.
Women should be them, men should be them, transsexual should be them, and not trying to be, oh, I can, now I'm going to get you a sports and got to be relevant there. And I think transsexual is also they want to be relevant, but we are by nature relevant. The thing is, and why the violence comes, and that that pushing back and saying no, we must stand for ourselves.
Well, the violence comes because inherently humans who are segregated and boxed in, we know that we are all one. And that's why we're arguing, we're fighting,
you feel it. You feel it.
Exactly.
You feel it, and you're also relevant. Every human being is relevant. It's not system relevant, but every woman has a worth because nature doesn't make a mistake. The handicapped, the straight, I have the same. I had to find out what is my human-centric worth, because system relevant, I couldn't, because I couldn't fit in. Until today, I don't fit in. I can't fit in. I can't multiply. I can't do certain things. And but what saved me is when I hit 50, I realized that. I realized the segregation of human-centric and system relevance. And once I got that, it makes all my decisions and everything clear, and the shame goes away. Because if you're not system relevant, there's always a shame in this. Even if you're the CEO.
Oh my goodness, what an excellent point. Yes, shame is created.
Yeah, shame is constantly created, even if you are like a CEO in a corner office, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, there will be a time when you are not system relevant anymore. Age, or you're doing the wrong decisions, or somebody smarter than you, and you just get discarded, like it never existed. And all the systems, that's the to make the whole circle full. Every system relies on financial principles. Yeah. Because even a nonprofit needs money, a religion needs money to run it.
Right.
The problem is we created the faulty financial principles that worked after the Second World War, because the focus was somewhere else. But it's a faulty thing, because you can only be punished when you don't have money or don't pay the taxes. There's no reward. If you pay 5 years your taxes and do everything in order, and you don't go and buy a 10 room house because you're making more money or anything, when you're just saying, I have enough, I pay my taxes, you're never gonna be rewarded. And nature is all about balance. And when you can't create a balance in system relevance, that's why you have the extreme people. 65% of Americans live paycheck by paycheck.
Yeah.
That's when, if you want to go in the first percent of richest Americans, guess how much money you need? $440,000. There is no cash around. It's all extremely on the top, in that 1 or 2%. When you have a podcast today, 98% of podcast revenue is earned by 1% of podcasters. And the systems always promote, podcasting is great and money and all that stuff. So you always teased for false hope, because there is this imbalance of it's never enough. It's never enough. So even if you hit the first quarter, it's never enough, because only negativity gets punished. You never get rewarded. If you want to reward yourself, saying, okay, Lino, you want to reward yourself, you want to buy yourself a new car, you got to get all the money, and you can buy it from your own money that you deserve, never from the system. And system is basically a artificial function of nature, right? Where we can also exist, the humans. We create our systems and we exist, but we haven't created a balance in it. And because there is no balance in this, we're always never enough. And that's why segregating each other and fighting each other and blaming each other and finger point each other because we can't fit together.
Okay, I mean, I absolutely hear you on this and I feel it and it feels true for me too. But as you're talking and explaining everything, I'm going back to the 8.5 billion people on this planet and us striving for some type of balance to be more collaborative with human centricity. But with so many people in this world, how do you even foresee a balance even beginning?
Just awareness first. Awareness first. What we do is exactly what we do, because we are not excluded from others. You and I are connected to the 8 billion people.
Yes.
So when you and I talk about it and we open our perception to each other, we open the perception to everyone. See, that's what systems don't want you to know. We are all, and that's why when you go in a place of worship, you go in a place of worship, mosque, church, whatever, versus a social security office or police station. Yeah, it's very systemic. There is a huge difference. One is human-centric. The focus is more on human-centric system, and the other one is very system relevant. And you feel the lack of humanity in a social security system, police station, whatever. It's just sucking the thing, and that's why there's a big suicide rate in cops. It's so hard because the system relevance is so crass, and these poor police people, and also we know that system relevant execution of punishment that is in war. I mean, you have more people killing themselves in Vietnam War than people died in the war, and the same thing is the highest suicide rate is in cops, because they constantly with disturbed system relevant disturbed people. They're so disturbed through the system, they couldn't fit in, they don't have the value, they're running out of money, and it just keeps propagating that. And that's
an issue that you feel is happening globally or mostly in the United States?
Globally. It's all over. We all, with the internet, everybody looks at each other. Everybody tries to be each other. I mean, look, everybody looks alike. I mean, you look at everything. I mean, in Italy, the people look alike. In the old days, 20 years ago, they look different. Now everybody looks.
Wow, that's so true. What an excellent point.
Yeah, everybody looks the same. We are connected. We want to be, we are DNA driven to be social herd animals, but systemically separated. So that's why the kids are looking at, what do you think? Oh, it's so bad that the kids are always on the iPhone. No, they have such a thing to be part of the tribe. And that's why they are on the iPhone. And I tell kids always, I said, you know why you're on the iPhone? I don't mind. Be on the iPhone, but just know you are there because you want to connect with other humans, because you're a herd animal. And now you can look at it, but just be aware why you're looking. Not because you're feeling guilty that I feel guilty to, let's say, text with you because I shouldn't be on my phone, right? And when I think it, okay, I want to connect to Lino because I want to talk to him. I want to connect to him. I don't want to just, look at this stupid phone. I use the phone to connect to Lino. And that's important, that when kids know, awareness is what trumps everything. You make people aware why they do what they do and why they are so confused. And you help everyone, and it's easier than to be a coach or advisor or stuff.
Well, yeah, because even if you're being a coach specific to a specific topic, it's still, a lot of that is still systemic. It's still boxing in.
Yep. I had a big talk today, and we talked about, what was it? Compassion. And I said, and all the people that spoke about compassion, and I said, do you see how the system relevance makes us, being psychologists and all this stuff, to define compassion? Compassion is something, when you look in nature, See, that's always where I'm looking, because I'm human-centric. So I'm looking and saying, they have the compassion, but they don't have to force themselves. You be write, write down a journal, a compassion journal or gratitude journal. Gratitude is right now. I feel 100% gratitude. I don't need to think, oh my God, with Lynn, because I'm doing something that fulfills me to communicate and dance with you.
Yeah, you know what? You just reminded me. I had a hypnotherapist on my podcast about a month and a half ago, and she mentioned this, that gratitude to her is common sense. It shouldn't be something like, let me pull out my gratitude journal and see what I'm grateful for today, what I'm appreciative of. That's all natural. Like you're saying right now, I'm grateful for your energy. Your energy is grateful for my energy. And we don't have to say it. We don't have to even become it.
We don't have to do an exercise. Yeah.
We don't have to create an exercise about it, because we're
that's the reverse engineering. See, that's just the system reverse engineering, because we are one human family. We are not, we are the world. We are the world is a reverse system engineered music, but because we say, oh, take some black people, gay people, this, and put them all together. We are one human family. And the reverse engineering about equality, we are equal by nature. We are not equal by system relevance, but we are equal by nature. And we have to bring that equality of gender, race, sexuality, hierarchy into systems, that the systems are more human-centric and can cater to, and then you will make more money with systems too. Because already the 4-hour week, 4-day work week, there's no one that says, oh, it's bad for the company or for the humans. It's good for both. And it literally had to come a crisis to make that. And now they think the people are better. They have more energy to create in the systems. And there's nobody that says, oh my God, we did the 4-week, we lost millions of dollars, and the people are horrible or whatever. No, it's not a single. So we making systems more human relevant and being a playground for us to contribute makes us having fun working and makes also more efficient, brings more system products out there.
In making things more human-centric, I'm feeling that this really needs to, if we want to make a global change and have people see us all as equal by nature, what I'm feeling would be the easiest to catch these ideas naturally would be children.
Yeah. And the kids know that. The kids are good with horses, the smallest kids are loving with horses. And like in my grow up, they said, don't horse with it, it kills the kid. No, the horse feels into the kid and the kid feels into the horse, and they're totally fine. You see what kids do with animals. They are not programmed yet, system relevant. They fit together. And in my education, I work on an education model where I want the first 2 years before you start school that you actually learn what it is to be human. Because you never learn what to be human. You always learn, okay, we gotta make your system relevant. You gotta be a man and a woman, so we're gonna segregate you, and then you're gonna be this. You were in this group, in the racial group, in this group. About insane.
That is
teach them what we are, that we are social creator animals. Teach kids we are that. We need to create. We need to always create. And when you have a lot of energy as a kid, you're not shutting up that kid down. You give him something, give him a crayon to draw. Get the energy out, or get him to run outside in the woods and stuff. You need to let that energy, because in that flow of energy, they discover themselves. And you need to have those kids, to first learn what it is to be a social animal, which we all are, that we are equal by nature. And when we come into system, it's a different game. And we can, if we want to be system relevant, we're going to do this study or whatever. But when we have 2 years first, where we just have a group art and a group sports and tending to an animal because I want a non-physical, non-system talk to an animal. And then we have awareness about this. And all kids have to do sports. All kids have to do art. So the quarterback of the top football game has to play an old woman in a theater play and have that experience. And then see the feminine, which is theater, see the masculine, which is the sports, team sports, then have an animal. Everybody has a pet. And then have awareness class where you all talk about your experience and where you teach humans that we are all different and we are all different experience. And then after these 2 years of understanding, or 1 year at least, understand what it is to be a human, not what your parents taught you, because they already programmed.
Yeah.
So what you have that you then can start and go, yeah, I think I'm going to be a veterinarian, or I'm going to be a mathematician because I'm really good with the numbers. And then you go into that, because today, when you go to university, 90% have no idea what they want to be.
Oh, no.
And university, the system relevance of university asks you, say, what you want to be. We make you an attorney. We make you a doctor. But we're not helping you to find your uniqueness that you are from 8 billion people.
That's so true. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
This is really incredible.
Yeah.
Michaell, what is it to be a human to you?
What I don't understand the question.
And what does humanness mean to you? For you as an individual, what is your humanness?
I have to find what you mean by that.
Okay.
I have to relate to it because I can't relate to the question.
Okay, so if to be a human collectively is to become aware of human centricity and become aware of system relevance, you as an individual, do you identify as an individual at all, or do you identify as an entire species? What is your?
I do both. I'm the species of a collective creator species of nature. So I'm not different than, I'm probably more advanced as a species because we have our thoughts, which, the elephant is an elephant and just does what an elephant does. He interacts with others, but he does what that does. I think the reason why we have a brain is because we are a creator species. And if let's say the Stone Ages, I'm going and I'm creating a hut. Mm-hmm. And I show you how to create a hut. I cut down, 4 trees, and then you watch me, and that you can actually teach that to the other one. So we learn in a progress, from the Middle Ages where there's nothing. Now, there was in Versailles, there was no bathrooms there. I mean, in this beautiful things. So we grow more and more. And by our, we started having computers. So now it's completely different than having computers then than now. We're learning from each other. And that's why we have a memory. And that's why we have a thought patterns. But I believe I am from that species. I believe that I have a brain to be, to communicate with you, to adapt to you, to collectively create this episode, and to help each other, like to widen your perspective and my perspective are widen in that dance that we have right now. And to dance, we need to adapt. So creativity, conversation, and then the adaptability helps us to dance with each other, which, by the way, helps you. You have enough podcasts, and you confirm this. You don't need time to connect with. You don't need to know somebody a year or two to have a conversation. Right. Yeah. Your 6 senses connect, boom, and you start like you know each other forever. How is that possible? Because we all have all the natural tools to talk to everybody in this world, especially through art. Because if you and I sing, people might not like it, but everybody will understand our song. If we draw, everybody will understand our draw. So we have all this stuff given by nature to communicate with 8 billion people.
This is really incredible. When we first started recording, you mentioned how if you want to find your uniqueness, create art. And that's basically the power of our humanness and that's
Yeah.
what differentiates us from the elephant or the monkey, is the fact
Yeah.
that our brain is so evolved in order for us to create and to be creative.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
this creativity is actually how we connect through a higher means of consciousness. However, even in this creative spirit of ours, if you even want to say spirit in this humanist conversation, although I feel they're all interrelated, in this creativity, it allows us to, once you are aware of the human centricity, it allows us to connect with nature in a more creative way, and thus opening the doors to creativity with nature and us. So then
Yeah.
nature can also become creative with us naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. Because nature is the biggest teacher of creativity. I mean, every artist that
Yeah,
you know thousands of artists, and they say you can't compete with nature because you're looking in the sky every minute, and the sky is like the Sistine Chapel.
which
You know,
is why
it's
sunsets are so incredible and beautiful and different every
yeah,
night, because that's the
and you
unique
can't compete
creativity.
with that because you can't copy. So it's so, and it's better than AI or anything because it has. I can never transform you like a sunset or a sunrise. It can never. Or you're looking at night, you are in the mountains somewhere camping, you're looking up and you have no light pollution. And it's just breathless because you are part of this. It's only breathless. If you would see it every day, it wouldn't be breathless. But it's so breathless because you're so system relevant and you're never in this. And then when you go in nature, you feel you're part of it. You know, you feel that,
Right.
and that aligns you to who you are, you know?
And that's because nature is creation and we're also creation. We
Yeah.
are a
We
subcategory
never
of
stop it. We never stop. We never stop. We're always growing. And systems don't. See, that's the problem. And we need them. No, we need to update systems because they stay stagnant. And when we then have to adapt to the old stuff that we know for years, it sucks our life energy because we
Yeah.
grow all the time. And at the same time, we have to live with something outdated and stagnant. And that's why, you know, the whole dynamic of system needs to be more human centric, where they're flexible, they grow with the people, and they don't have to grow all the time. They can be also stagnant because every harvest in nature isn't perfect. You have 2 years where you have a weak harvest. But because nature doesn't go so out of balance like systems do,
Right.
they can balance. It's not gonna screw up the whole nature. They have not good things. So yeah, animals, couple will die, and couple, you know, but they get thinner because they don't have the food. But then again, in the third year, we have overabundance of harvest again. So this all about balance. And if you don't have balance in systems, this is the main problems that we are all suffering. That's why we have wars and everything, because system can't do it anymore. So they have to do a war to reset. And that is,
Right.
and the problem is with politicians and media that they are codependent. And this, you love this you love this, what I'm asking you then.
Okay.
So they are codependent,
They are.
and so they believe, the problem is they believe what they experience. So the politicians need media to give them topics that they think they can use, and the media needs to be relevant because politicians take their
Yeah,
reporting.
they're all codependent.
Yeah, but through this codependency, they are so system relevant that they believe what they do. They believe the world is so. And now I'm asking everyone always, I said, I've never seen a person that says, when I look at the news, my life is exactly like that. There is nobody's life in the world that is like the news, but we all believe, because we're driven to be a social animal, that this is how the world is. And so we, again, feel guilt and shame, that the world is so screwed up. The world isn't screwed up. The world has problems, system relevant problems, but it isn't what you see on TV. It's just this is the problem for us, to believe, to act not doing what we need to do, to not, telling people to get aware, to not, risking anything, because we're just believing, and we believe it because these people believe it. They believe their metaverse that they created with crisis and wars and political malfunctions, that they think that that's the real world. And they don't see anything else. They believe it. And we believe it because they believe it. We are all interconnected. Sure. We wouldn't believe it if they would just say, oh, we want to manipulate humans and just say we have a crisis. No, they believe it. And that's why we believe it. But we need to wake up and be conscious that if you believe it, then tell me if your life is exactly what you see on news. And nobody's life, even in the worst favelas in Brazil, is like what you see because we would be dead if we would live a life like that. It's impossible.
Right.
Isn't that great? You ask us, is your life like this? So don't give it attention. Don't give it attention. Let it go. Let them report whatever they want, but you don't have to believe it. Because you are tainting your life by feeling, oh my God, the world is all screwed up. The world isn't screwed up. Otherwise, the world would long be dead. I was a politician myself, and I worked for the city. The city stuff always works. There's no gossip or bullshit. They all work, and the city works every day. It's only the politicians that do the crisis and the attention and all that stuff.
Yeah, because they need each other to.
The world works. People bake in the morning. They do their job, and it's only the people that use the money and think that they believe their crisis.
That's so true. They believe their crisis, and they make that their reality, and then in turn, they use money and
they're completely off because it's not the truth.
Yeah, but they're not even aware that that's not the truth because they're
not aware. That's the problem, because we believe when you believe something, I tend to believe you too, because I said, you must know, because I would say that you self-doubt yourself,
Yeah.
If I can sense that, oh my God, and the stuff is, the politicians forget also what their job is. Their job is, when have you last heard that a politician talks about humans?
They don't.
Never. They talk to American people, the American voters, which is a completely feelless thing. They don't say, we need to make sure that all systems work for all humans, because systems' job is to work for all humans, not just for the race, the gender, the hierarchy. Systems are built because we had tribes, and then systems are built to serve humans. And the person that is the interface is the politician that makes sure that gathers from you and me what is going on in our lives, and then helps us being the interface so that system can actually tend to us and take care of us. Not just money, but understand it and update,
Yeah, it's definitely takes but what I'm feeling too from this is, I mean, let's say somebody becomes aware of the fact that they've been lost and stuck in the system, and more in the system rather than living their human centricism, human centric self. But so I can feel that somebody could easily say, but I need to be in the system to make money, or how am I going to, are you going to pay my bills? I can see, if I were to tell this to someone, I can see them telling me, well, are you going to pay my bills? Are you going to support my 5 kids?
No. You can still work. You can be aware of what we said and still work for, obviously, everybody needs money. Right. I'm not saying, I'm for systems, but the awareness makes it easier to work for the system. Because you will say, what happens now is, a mother has a child that is sick, right? Mm-hmm. She calls the team and says, guys, George is sick. And the team said, okay, it's like they hate it that she doesn't show up. In a human-centric system, that would be like this. Hey, guys, George is sick. And they says, don't worry, Maria, we take care of it. And next time, you help, because we know when my kid goes bad, you take care of it too. That's how human-centric is.
I see.
And
That
when
makes
you
sense.
feel guilty, because you stay home and need to take care of your kids, which is the human-centric thing, you cannot take care of your kid, really.
Right. True.
You don't take care of your kid because you feel guilty and shamed that you let the team alone. And that's when you need to realize, oh my God, I give the system relevance more power than the human centricity of me and my son.
That's so interesting. And that's very true.
And when you are aware of that, you can still work for the system. But whatever they say, you wouldn't worry. If they say, okay, stay home, and they give you a bad attitude, you say, I don't give a shit. I'm human centric. I need to take care of my child.
Yeah.
And I give that child everything, because the child doesn't help if the mother feels guilty and drinks and smokes because, she feels guilty about that,
Yeah. I love
and
this.
he's on the phone and talks to the team members and say, oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to come in, blah, blah, blah. This is what always the distraction of what we're supposed to do, what is our thing. And you have to work for this because we are all dependent on money. And like I said, 65% of Americans are living paycheck by paycheck.
Yeah.
You know what the richest people in the world, the top, to get into the rich, and there's a lot of rich people on the world, $32,000. If you make $32,000, you are in the top 1% of richest people on the earth.
That's incredible.
Yeah, but that nobody tells you that. See, 440 in America, the richest land in the world. It's not like everybody I talk to people that really know a lot of stuff, and they say, oh, 100 million to get into the first 1%. No, 440,000, you're in the first part. There's no cash.
Yeah.
Because we have imbalanced through the faulty, antiquated financial system of it's never enough and not rewarding when you are handling enough or when you do the right thing.
That's true. There's never a reward for you're already enough, and this is already enough. There's always
if you act like enough, you just pay your taxes, right? And you are enough, you're not getting rewarded. You get punished if you don't pay your taxes. You have financial problems. You go bankruptcy. You get all the punishment, and you never get the balance. And that's why you have to do every quarter. You have to do more, because automatically, if you don't do more, there's no reward for you. If there was a reward for doing enough, people wouldn't say, I don't have to expand to 5,000 people in my work. I can live with 500 people in my work. I don't have to, I don't need to have, and you know that. You have 10,000 viewers. Snoop Dogg just said he has 1 billion downloads on Spotify, and he got $42,000.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
This is showing you how the imbalance is. When a Snoop Dogg, not you and me.
I remember I saw that when Snoop Dogg was talking about that. Yeah,
it
like
said
how
$1
did he
billion
only make
downloads,
$42,000?
$42,000. That is showing you that our systems are so not functional. We need to bring the financial principles to reward enough. When people do the right thing, they're not buying because they have more money this year, and you're not making a 10 house, for 10 bathrooms. And what is when you saying you're making $1 million? What happens? They're coming right to you and say, look, give me take a credit, because then you pay less taxes than if you would pay taxes, and live on the credit, but you indebt yourself to the bank. It's just always a minus, because it's all about debting, And this is not, I don't tell you a secret. This is the facts. This is what's going on in the world. And this is all over the world. It's not America is bad. The financial systems all over always in lack, always lack. And that's why every human feels collect. And then when you feel it's never enough, I feel it never, everybody else feels it. So
Feels
you
like
can't
it's not
even,
enough.
you can't even be conscious because you can't pull yourself out.
That's so true.
Isn't
Michael
that
Magrutsche,
insane?
everyone. Michael, this has been incredible. Oh my goodness. So uh,
Anytime, you know me.
I know.
Anytime. We do a third or fourth or fifth.
I would love to have you back again. This is incredible. I
Yeah.
love your passion just for human nature itself.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And so, where can our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners find your books? Michael Magrutsche is an author of 5 books. He's an incredible painter. I've seen his art. It's really beautiful. Creativity comes quite naturally and in harmony with him. So, where can our viewers, our watchers, and our listeners find your podcast? And the name of your podcast is called the Smart of Art
Art of art,
Podcast.
the power of art and creativity,
Okay.
which is all about the creation. It's not about the program because we as artists get very system relevant screwed up by focusing on the art product that we create, meaning it's all about creating a bicycle. We were very, but a businessman, when they create a bicycle that doesn't sell, they say, okay, I'm going to into slacks or whatever. They don't have an ego, but we have a magic creation period, and that's why we want this our product or a statue or a song to sell. And this doesn't, and I'm focusing on that you really enjoy, no matter if you sell or not, that you enjoy the creation process. And that podcast is 30 seconds long, every episode. And you just, once a week, you just listen, it has a question for you, and you get more and more aware about what a creative animal you are and what it is to be creation and how to find yourself. And everything is to find me, to contact me, to use my advice, to whatever you want, my music, my audio, my everything is on michaelm.com, Michael with 2 L's, m.com. And you find everything there. You find all my interviews on YouTube and everything. And just keep listening. The awareness does everything. Your awareness should make this episode that I just did with you, Lena, should make your life 50% easier. If you listen to this a couple of times, it will make your life feel easier because you can segregate the bullshit from the truth,
I love segregating the bullshit from the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Michael Magrutsche, everyone here on A Little Less Fear podcast. You can find his art as well on your website.
Yeah.
His art,
Everything.
his books, and all the information on YouTube and the Smart of Art podcast, The Power of Art and Creativity, in which he is a host on Michael M, as again as in Michael, michaelm.com. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible wisdom, your light, your energy. You're very vibrant, you're harmonic, and I'm really, really blessed to have connected with you once again. I look forward to connecting with you again, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you, Lena, for allowing me to paint that beautiful painting.
Oh, keep painting because I love it. I love your art.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank you so much. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Dr. Lino Show, A Little Less Fear podcast. If you'd like to get a hold of me, you can do so by sending me an email at a little less fear at gmail.com or through an inquiry from my website at www.alittlelessfear.com, where you will always find information on where to get my book. You can get my book on Amazon and Amazon paperback version, Kindle or Kindle Unlimited. And I also create incredible visual video poetry for people that are interested in marketing or even just to send a personal note to anybody or somebody that you might love. So yeah, check it out. I love it. Poetry is my passion, one of my other passions, aside from doing what I do right now, which is giving you all the motivation that you need to keep growing, to keep motivating people, motivating yourself, and to keep expanding. I love you all so much. Have a blessed day and take care. Rock on.